Diego DeManuel Show. As you can see, I've got new equipment, and it's been giving me quite a hard time. So I've been trying to iron out these kinks and figuring out how to get these episodes to flow like they did when I had the fucking gaming headset. I would really hate to have to go back to the gaming headset after I just bought all of this shit. But if it means I get to make a fucking episode, then I'll do it because this is really starting to frustrate me a little bit. But you guys don't care about that. You guys want to hear about shit on podcasts. So let's do that. So this one's going to be a local theme. So what needs to go? I'm just sitting here. I got this fucking Fox 2 News on with this benign ass bullshit they showing like it's news. And it reminded me that the NFL draft is coming to Detroit, Michigan this year. The Detroit Lions had a historic playoff run. You know, you could root for them this year and not be inundated with disappointment. So, good job, Detroit Lions. As a lifelong Packers fan, congratulations. You know, the Lions do get fucked over a lot. And, you know, it was good for them to have their little year, their little moment to, you know, give people hope. You know, people thought the Lions might go to the Super Bowl, and it almost looked like they might have. But the travesty here, hang on, wait a minute. There's the travesty. Look at this gaudy shit. Courtesy of clickondetroit.com. So, Detroit's new Hollywood sign is up, but some aren't impressed, and here's why. Well, I'll show you why, first of all. First, why are we calling it the Detroit Hollywood sign? Like, that's so dick-sucky. Detroit goes Hollywood. Look at this shit. Look at this. This standard Arial font. Look at this ugly-ass fucking whatever this is. This is supposed to make people coming here for the draft, like, think more highly of Detroit. Is that really the goal here? That's really what y'all thought that shit was going to do. You get some Arial font letters. It's going to be a matter of within 60 to 90 days before that motherfucker is completely unrecognizable, completely covered in graffiti and other shit. Like, come on, man. Y'all can't do better than this. We got that motherfucking statue that's holding the ball and shit. We got the big fist. All that shit. Historic, iconic. The Renaissance Center. Historic, iconic. And then y'all come up in here with this shit? With this? Come on. Come on, man. And they really tried to hype this shit up. Like, they really trying to hype it up like, oh my God, look at this new thing Detroit has. Like, oh my God, it's so amazing. Don't you guys like it? No. Niggas I've already seen on my Facebook stories, niggas that already made diss songs about this lame ass shit, whatever this is. Like, take a look at it again. Now, you riding down 94 from the airport and then you see this shit. Do you even notice it? Like, you could, wherever the fuck I don't even know where it is in the city. You could drive right past that shit at 70 miles per hour and not even bat an eye. You just be like, oh, what the fuck's that? I wasn't there before. Like, it's garbage. It's garbage. I mean, it's a kind gesture. Like, I'm glad you're trying to do things to enthuse the people coming to Detroit for the NFL draft, but, like, no football fan gives a fuck about this. They don't. Ask diehard football fans who are going to travel to the city of Detroit to witness the NFL draft. Hey, how'd that sign make you feel? Did you like our sign? Did you guys like our sign? We made it for you guys. They don't give a fuck. They don't care at all. And they shouldn't care. Because it's stale, it's boring, it's plain, and it's unoriginal. And I'm really trying to get behind it. Like, I would like to like that shit, but it's just, it's not. Like, if you tell me you go to install a Detroit Hollywood sign and then you show me that, I'm be like, okay, where's the Hollywood sign? I say, okay, I see you put some letters up, but, oh, that looks like Paris, Las Vegas. I got to turn this TV off. But yeah, like what the fuck is this? Like I'm just looking at it and I'm just very, very, very unmoved by it. Like very unmoved. So yeah. Ahead of the NFL draft in Detroit, the city installed its own Hollywood style sign along I-94 for visitors to see as they enter the area. The sign was unveiled along eastbound I-94 between Central Street and Cecil Avenue, a collaboration between the city, DTE Energy, MDOT, FHWA, and the Fairmount Sign Company. Do we get a video to watch or something? Yeah, I guess after we watch this electric Mustang ad, we'll get what we want to get. So yeah. Prepare to be underwhelmed by it. This is an awfully long fucking commercial for some shit like hands-free driving. Oh yeah, because I really need to hold my wife's hand instead of paying attention to the road. I need the car to pay attention to the road so I can clasp hands with my woman as this bitch crashes into a wall and we can die on some Titanic shit. Stupid. I wish I could say something good about it, but I can't because it's stupid. Let's watch this little brief clip right here.
Just 16 days away now from the NFL draft takeover in Detroit, but if you've been paying attention, the makeover has already started.
Yeah, the stage being built as we speak in downtown Detroit near Campus Martius. But check out this new video just into our newsroom. The first letter, as you expected, it was going to be a D. The Detroit's Hollywood-style sign has been installed along I-94. This is between Central and Cecil on Detroit's west side. The sign will welcome visitors attending the draft, and it's going to say Detroit.
Okay. God deliver us from another fucking Ford advertisement.
Special offers have just been...
Well, that's not deliverance, is it? Yeah, so as you can see, I took the glasses off of this shit because I really need my facial expressions to hit. Like, as you can assume, the first letter is gonna be a D. So we know that woman, she's a scholar. You know, her intelligence is off the charts. Because we couldn't have guessed that the first letter would have been a D for the city of Detroit, and it's supposed to welcome you. Like, look at this sign. Does this sign say welcome? It could literally spell out WELCOME, and it wouldn't be that much more welcoming. It's a good idea. Like, it's a good thought, but it's just not. It doesn't look as good as an idea as it is. It took several weeks for the letters to be built, and then a few days for them to be installed. But now that it's up, some people aren't thrilled with the look. Comments on the city's Facebook page feature jokes like, they got the letters off someone's refrigerator when you order your Hollywood-style sign from Wish. Like, seriously, though. Like, that's what that is. Like, look at this. Like, the city of Detroit benefits nothing. There is no tangible benefit. Like, it's not an eyesore, but it's not an attraction either. Like, you're not. Do you see that shit and get enthused about something? Like, they could have at least put, like, welcome to the NFL draft. Like, they planning to leave this shit up for years. I heard in one of the songs they was making about this and this shit. There's like motherfucking wind come out and blow that bitch down or something like that. I gotta find it. If I can find it, I'll talk about it in another segment. I'll just throw that in there if I can find that fucking song. Because I wasn't even gonna listen to it at first. I'm just like, oh, but you know what? Yep, there we go. Detroit rapper G Mac Cash already dropped the song dissing the sign, which is just classic G Mac Cash. The song starts with, it looks like they got these letters from Toys R Us, bruh. One of the biggest discrepancies people are pointing out is that it doesn't look like a rendering that was just floating around the internet. But, wait. Yeah, that was floating around the internet, but that rendering was never an official rendering. It was just an AI-generated image spread by Instagram accounts like Metro Detroit News. Yeah, I mean, now I saw one that was like definitely AI, But like the AI version of it, look, this is one thing that AI might make a bad girlfriend, but it definitely does a better job of portraying a better rendition of what this shit should look like. Like, it's just, at least it was like being propped up by shit. Like, you know how the Hollywood sign, like that shit's got like, if these are the letters, it's got like beams and shit holding it up. They just screwed these shits into some concrete and nestled it in the ground. Garbage. Fucking garbage. So, yeah. The sign was never going to be almost as big as the Ren sin, guys. Come on. The official rendering that was released by the city is below and is pretty close to the real sign. Yeah, them flowers help. But, like, shouldn't it be like the other way around? Like, I feel like, why is the D the smallest letter? Like, visually. It's probably not physically the smallest letter, but the T is the biggest goddamn letter. Like, Detroit? Like, that's what it looks like. Like Detroit? The T should not be... It should have been done differently. Like, this is just not everyone hates it. There are plenty of supportive reactions on social media, but when you're comparing the real world to the AI world, you're going to have some issues. Like, where are the supportive reactions? Like, y'all put up the clip about GMAC Cash dropping the song saying it looked like the shit came from Toys R Us when you order your Hollywood sign from Wish. Where's the positive? Where's the acclaim for this shit? Where's everybody? Where's all the people you open and say, but people ain't thrilled about it. But well, they got some positive reactions. Oh, yeah, where are the positive reactions? Guys, come on. You know people, you can't be all negative reactions. We did a good thing here. Come on, guys. No, just show me one positive. Like, even Local 4, Click on Detroit, didn't have anything good to say about it. They just reported the goofy things that other people said about it. Even the lady in that little clip said, well, you knew the first letter was gonna be a D, and, you know, here's our Detroit sign. People don't like it. It's ugly. It's unsightly. I don't like it. Born and raised in Detroit. Get that shit out of here. I would rather see it covered in graffiti or some shit, because then it'd probably be more artistic. It was a waste of taxpayer money. And just because all these alphabet organizations collaborated to make it possible, well, we got MDAC and Foxtrot and DRC3 and WebR. Like, I don't give a fuck about all these corporations that contributed to it. It looks bad. It looks bad. I'm not mad about the thought. Like, the idea behind it is not what people have an issue with. But if you're going to have that idea of a Hollywood sign for Detroit and then produce that ugly shit and have the AI-generated image look arguably better, like, that's generous to say it looks better. But that shit right there, I'm going to have to side with GMAC Cash on this one, bro. It do look like it's just Arial font. This is like the text that's on a letterhead for a business memo. We can do better than this, man. Motherfuckers throw dirt on the city of Detroit all the time. They talk about it as a gritty, crime-ridden city and all that shit. And then when we try to change the narrative because we finally getting something good like the NFL draft coming here. I mean, we had the Super Bowl, but we got the NFL draft coming. We had a historic NFL season and shit. And this is the reward you give a motherfucker. This ugly-ass sign. Can't stress it enough, so... Today, unfortunately, this fucking Detroit sign needs to go. It needs to be revamped. It needs to be upgraded. Yeah, I understood people worked hard on it, and it took several weeks to culminate and all that shit, but yeah. No, we not feeling it. Let's get to the motherfucking stuff. All right, let's keep this thing rolling. So, excuse me, when you hear pretty privilege, what do you think of? And spoiler alert, it's nothing like the white privilege trope that flies around. It's nothing like that. But when you hear pretty privilege, do you think of men? Do you think there are any men out here who have pretty privilege? No? Okay, well, good. You'd be right on that. So, what is pretty privilege? Before we get into the article, that's another. Oh man, the news is fucking helping me out this morning, giving me some shit I can discuss. But yeah, pretty privilege. We're gonna delve into a story courtesy of Hello US, whatever the fuck that is, about why it's time to end the pretty privilege era. Now, I won't lie, like when I first hear that, I'm thinking like, yeah, we need to stop giving women things just because they're beautiful or just because they look good. Like, that's just not enough. It's just not enough. Like, you being hot is just not enough to warrant massive opportunity and like success. Like, beauty is whilst objective, still very subjective depending on who you ask. Like, there are beauty standards that can be met, but a lot of it depends on who you ask in terms of whether they find it beautiful or not. And what did you do to achieve your look? Like, you can enhance, I've said this before, like, you can enhance what you already have, but you cannot change what it is. Like, you can go from like you could add makeup and shit and enhance the features you already have, but you cannot, like, just like a creative player, just swap through different noses or, like, you know, pick a different mouth or pick a different jawline. Like, those things are static. You can't change them. So to think you deserve something based on a purely arbitrary metric is narcissistic and arrogant, you know? But we're going to listen to this story about a girl who claims that she lost a job because she wasn't pretty enough, which bullshit, but let's indulge. Let's get involved. Why it's time to end the pretty privilege era. I'd never heard of the term hashtag pretty privilege until this week. Apparently the hashtag has over 250 million views on TikTok, and it's a phrase coined by the internet to describe the benefits of being the kind of pretty that conforms to society's so-called beauty ideals. I first came across it after reading comments about a viral TikTok loaded by 30-year-old New Yorker Melissa Weaver. Melissa had gone for an interview for the job of her dreams, one that she knew she was qualified for and one that she was told by the recruiter fitted her skill set perfectly. Okay, so, light question here. I'm sorry I keep wiping my nose. Like, the fucking sinuses are just dead in this goddamn hotel room. But, yeah, what's the job? What's this dream job you speak of? Like, what is it? I'd like to know. The one that you were qualified for? Okay, no reason to dispute that. You were qualified for the job. Like, okay, no reason to dispute that at all. Told by the recruiter, fit her skill set perfectly. Okay. So, let's continue. But I do want to know what that job was. We don't get to know, but I would like to know. However, Melissa was rejected for the vice presidency role because she didn't look, quote, pretty enough. Vice presidency role. Like, vice presidency where? Like, vice presidency? Like, I'm trying to think, like, what? I know we ain't talking about of the United States, but, like, I'm trying to assign the significance to vice presidency. Like, I get vice president is like a pretty big role wherever it is, but what the fuck? It's so many questions. But then she said she was rejected for that role because she didn't look pretty enough. What the fuck does that mean? And my other problem with this whole pretty enough narrative is that it completely rules out any other possibility that there was some other reason that she didn't get the job. Like, you're just certain that you didn't get it because you weren't pretty enough. What if they just found somebody who was more qualified? You know, what if they found another woman that was more qualified? What if they found another man that was more qualified? Assuming you got rejected just because you were pretty enough or because somebody told you you weren't pretty enough. Like, who told you that? Was it the person who told you you'd be a perfect fit? Did he have that conversation over the phone, then see you in person, and then realize that not that you were a dumpster fire, but that you just weren't, you were just okay. You were office hot, but not vice presidency hot. Like, I don't believe this. I don't believe this narrative is real. I don't believe that, especially in today's society, that somebody told this woman that she didn't get a job because she wasn't pretty enough. That's a load of tripe. That's bullshit. In the video, Ms. Alyssa explained after thinking that the interview was a huge success, she was told she didn't get the job because she hadn't put enough effort into her appearance. Now, I'm not going to click this because it's going to take me to TikTok. If that's her, like, she's not a bad-looking woman. She's not a supermodel, but she's a good-looking woman. And, now, notice we're going to take a big shift here. So see if you can notice the shift. She says, I did a blowout for my hair. I had on a nice top, a blazer, and some earrings, but I only had on chapstick. I didn't have any makeup on because I don't really wear a lot of makeup. Not to be quirky, I just don't. Which begs the question that she asks her followers, does not wearing makeup really make it seem like women aren't putting as much effort or care into their job? Okay. Hold up. We took a left turn somewhere. Now, first of all, what? Like, what? She says, like, she runs down this shit like this is the checklist for, like, things she needs to get the job. She's like, I had to blow out, check. Earrings, check. This and that, check. Lipstick, not check. I put on chapstick. Is that why? Should I have worn the lipstick? Like, it almost seems like the reasons that you supply are like you're boiling it down to your appearance. Because like I said, nobody fucking told you that, yeah, you just didn't. Oh, shit. There we go. So many difficulties in this motherfucker, man, I swear. But yeah, it's not like I gotta fix that shit. It's gonna irk me. There we go. Good enough. So it's not like I don't honestly don't believe that somebody came in there and was like, yeah, man, you're just not hot enough, and that's why we didn't do this. You know, had you worn that ruby red lipstick, you'd have been a shoo-in, but you came in here with that fucking original chapstick. It wasn't even strawberry chapstick. Like, you just came in here with that bullshit. Nobody said that to you. Nobody in their right mind said that to you, knowing the society we live in. And to be going down that checklist, like, and then to try to redefine it, like, there was no possible way that you could have just not been the best candidate for the position. You might have been a viable candidate, but even if but that doesn't mean you were the best candidate. You could have been like top 5, which means at best there were 4 more people more qualified than you. You could have been top 3, which at best means 2 more people were more qualified than you. To boil this shit down to vanity absolves you of any responsibility for why this shit didn't work out for you. And it gives you the opportunity to paint the narrative as if if you're in some type of misogynist fucking kind of like it's a systemic issue. And it's not. We don't know why you didn't get that job, but for you to say it's just because of lipstick, that's bullshit. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for 1 second. Does not wearing makeup really make it seem like women aren't putting as much effort or care into their job? No. No, it does not. But I don't think that that's what happened in your case. I think that's what you're spinning. Like, you spun this. Like, we don't even get to know where you worked, what vice presidency role, and where. We're just getting your side of this story. And, like, let a woman tell it anything besides the fact that she wasn't good enough is the reason why. Where we at here? Let's continue with this article. I was astonished that as a society, we are still conditioned to believe that we have to conform to a set of out-of-date beauty ideals that require us to look a certain way in a job interview. Yet, as a matter of respect to ourselves and to our and as well as our colleagues, we should look presentable and, of course, be clean. But is a lack of lipstick really reason enough to not hire someone? Is corporate America still that behind? This appearance-fixed society makes me, yes, even me, the de facto beauty editor, take a deep breath of dismay. And now add the barrage of overly perfect filters on TikTok and Instagram, I fear that the pressures of looking a certain way will just get worse. So now it's a corporate America issue because you didn't get hired. Do you hear the arrogance in that shit? You didn't get hired. You, some regular, average person, qualified or unqualified. Like, you didn't get hired, so now the system's fucked up. The whole corporate America is that behind because you claim that a lack of lipstick is why you didn't get hired. Like, unless you're working for L'Oreal or something, or fucking Maybelline, that's not why you don't get hired. Like, saying that you didn't get hired because you weren't hot enough just keeps the door open for this bullshit misogyny narrative. And we don't even know that that's why. And you'll never get, like, even if that was why, if anybody was smart, they would never explicitly spell out that you didn't get hired because you didn't wear lipstick. They're not going to say that. If that were to be true, they're not going to say that. Because that's horrible. It's the wrong thing to say. And you would be, that's discrimination. That's an illegal form of discrimination. You can't not hire somebody because you didn't think they was hot in most jobs. And then to say it's corporate America still that behind. This appearance-fixed society makes you, even you, blah, 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 a deep breath of dismay. The pressures of looking a certain way. The only reason we're talking about the pressures of looking a certain way is because this woman suggested that she didn't get hired for not wearing makeup. We don't get to consider any other factors in the reason why you weren't picked. This is all you said. There's no other data to work with. So if you're just going to read this shit and take it at face value, then that's, hey, we just got to assume, hey, bitch, wear makeup next time. What the fuck? Don't hate the player, hate the game. If you know this is what the environment you working in, whether it's right or wrong, we can talk about that later. If you want the fucking job, it takes 5 minutes to apply lipstick. Put it on. In this so-called age of inclusivity and diversity, we should be putting those archaic societal beauty standards to bed. Do men get turned down for a job if they don't use concealer to cover up their dark circles? Of course not. Okay, straw man. Nobody said that men do get turned down for a job if they don't use concealer. Another point, we generally know that men don't apply makeup to their faces, especially for a job interview. Like, a man combs his hair, brushes his teeth, combs his mustache. Like, we don't need makeup. We're not trying to impress men. Or not even so much we're not trying to impress. We're not vanity concerned. Like, our concern for our vanity doesn't extend to wearing makeup and concealer and shit. That's something you guys do. That's something women do. So, of course, men don't get turned down for a job if they don't use concealer to cover up their dark circles. I would even argue that women don't get turned down for most jobs where vanity isn't an issue, like corporate America, like you said. Don't get turned down if you don't use concealer to cover up your dark circles. Now, you should come in there looking your best, especially if you're going to work amongst men or in some type of environment where rank-wise within whatever organization men are above you. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. Should you be forced to do it? No. The makeup should be your choice. You should be able to walk in there with your natural beauty, and it should not make a difference. You should, and I believe that's the case in a lot of places. But it doesn't help to make yourself look good. Like, I thought women like to make themselves look good. They like to feel, they want to feel that shit. But now it's a problem. Yes, we'll continue. Wearing lipstick can make a lot of us feel better. Makeup often gives us a coat of armor, a spring in our step, an extra jolt of confidence. And, of course, for that reason, wear it. But it should be about choice. And, yes, you do have the choice to wear or not wear makeup. And if we going off the narrative, you said, yeah, I guess it would be fucked up if you got denied for that. But, sweetheart, you probably didn't get denied for that. I'm very, very skeptical of that. And then how is the same thing that's supposed to empower you, crippling you in the same breath? Like, you're supposed to be empowered by wearing lipstick and makeup and shit, but now if you don't wear the lipstick and makeup, now you can't be powerful. So you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. It's up to society this shit right here, I just skipped that part. It's up to society to challenge these internalized biases. We must all be on a level playing field, whatever we look like. Pretty privilege, it's time we made it stop. Yeah, that utopian bullshit narrative that we should all be on the same. I don't understand how he keeps doing that. But Let me just switch off of it. This whole narrative that fucking you got wronged because you didn't wear lipstick is bullshit. But if we buy into that narrative, you're just a chronic victim. You know, nothing's your fault. And then even at the bare minimum, like, if it was about lipstick, it's your fault because you didn't wear lipstick. If that was what it's about, you should have wore it. You can wear chapstick and lipstick. Like, what the fuck? You should have did it, and you didn't. Take some responsibility. At least it'd be easier to buy into that narrative if you at least took some kind of responsibility for it. If you didn't just say, oh, archaic beauty standards and blah, 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 society. Like, what about you? What about you? It's very few situations where a motherfucker just takes accountability for what the fuck has happened and then points the fingers where fingers need to be pointed. But let these motherfuckers tell it, it's the system's broke. We need to revamp the system, you know, because something's wrong with it because you allegedly didn't get hired for wearing lipstick. Get the fuck out of here, man. Ah, fuck. I need to go procure some weed. It's like my first episode in like 3 weeks. I actually like feel some rust. Like I feel like I gotta get back in the swing of this shit. You know, it's not just coming to me kind of like it used to or whatever. Anywho, enough bitching and belly aching about my shit and what the fuck I have to go through. Let's talk about microfeminism, shall we? Let's bring it up. Oh, I did this. Okay. Here we go. Let's bring that up. And there it is. Microfeminism explained. This TikTok trend is fighting gender equality in tiny ways, courtesy of Good. Good? That's, what is that? Has anybody ever heard of Good? Like, who reads that? Who seeks this out? Who's walking around like, I really need some news, but I don't know where to get it from. I've been getting all my news from bad for years. I want to switch it up. Hey, good. Anywho, yeah, so they're talking about microfeminism. Let me make sure I didn't knock my audio out. Okay, so we're talking about microfeminism. This TikTok trend is fighting gender equalities in tiny ways. So just from the start, when you got to rely on TikTok trends to address like social inequality or whatever, the gender inequality that they love to talk about so fucking much, you are already fucked. It's already off to a bad start. So we know, like, we all know that feminism is a harmful ideology. It only benefits women. It doesn't stand to benefit men at all. And like, what's the point of microfeminism? You know, I'd be like adding a fifth wheel to a car, a fifth and sixth wheel. For like adding, like, we don't need a fifth and sixth wheel. The fuck? We've already got 4 wheels, and cars still crash and get destroyed all the time. So what the fuck is a fifth and a sixth wheel gonna do? The fifth and the sixth wheel is microfeminism. It's something we don't need, that's not really gonna make things better, and is almost certain to keep things as bad as they already are. So who the fuck needs that? But nonetheless, let's indulge on this microfeminism trip and, you know, see the TikTok trend fighting gender equality in tiny ways. Like, the tiny ways are more meaningful than the large ways, you know? So we got 3 chicks here in this photo. One caption says, "My favorite form of microfeminism. Forms of microfeminism I implement as an attorney," which you probably shouldn't do if you're a professional. And another one that says, "I will always address the woman first in the actual email." Now, before we get into this, like, just based off them 3 things, like, isn't that kind of childish? Like, the fact that, like, you just can't, like, you have such contempt for men for whatever reason, whether it's valid or not. Like, you have such contempt for men that you're just going to refuse to address men like they're not there. Like, I've referenced George Carlin saying this shit all the time. Like, you think changing the name of the condition changes the condition. You think not addressing men makes them go away. No, that's not how it works. Like, not physically anyways. You can eliminate them from the realm of your pea-brain ass mind, but in reality, without men, you don't have anything. You don't have anything. The house you sit in, the car you drive, the device that you use to perpetuate this bullshit. Fuck, if it wasn't for some Asian men somewhere, you wouldn't fucking have TikTok. You wouldn't have this platform to be publicly stupid on. We all know this shit. This ain't disputed. But these feminists think they think they're men. They actually believe they're men. And they actually believe that microfeminism does something. They think someone outside of their stupid circle gives a fuck about this stupid shit. Newsflash. They don't. So let's get involved. TikTok trends come in all shapes and sizes. Dance routines that low-key feel so hard they must have been created by a professional choreographer. Seriously? Seriously? What about that shit they was doing in My Feelings by Drake? Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? Motherfuckers was getting hit by cars and shit, or letting their cars ghost ride and run into shit. You know, but it's so hard. It must have been a professional choreographer that took time out of his day and created this dance for free to put it on TikTok and have thousands of kids following their footsteps. And I hope I can remember to come back to the thousands of kids when I conclude on this, because it's something that needs to be talked about. But let's continue with the article. De-influencing popular products in the name of reducing wasteful consumerism, and even using filters on Get Ready With Me videos for a good cause. Gone the way of de-influencing, a new trend that has taken hold on the social media app that could have tangible implications socially and culturally. It's called microfeminism. Essentially, it's the small, subtle changes someone might make, especially in the workplace, to fight gender inequality. Quote, instead of like standing up, burning your bra, and screaming at people, it's like little acts that make men pissed off. TikTok creator Katie Wood said in a video about the subject. And it's my favorite fucking thing to do. Okay, now to call her a TikTok creator is generous. She hasn't created anything. She's just taken an already existing idea and like narrowed it down into something even more useless. So like if you creating something that inherently denigrates the original idea, I don't think that's called creation. Your creation is not supposed to usurp from the original idea. So it's not really a creation. And then talking about it's not like standing up, burning your bra, and screaming at people. Yeah, because that gets things done. If you burn your bra, your titties are going to sag and your back's going to hurt. And I'm sure there's going to be some weirdo motherfucker out there. Well, actually, there was a study produced by Harvard and Yale that says wearing a bra doesn't actually serve any physical Okay, whatever. What the fuck purpose does standing up, burning your bra, and screaming at people serve? Like, just for one, it's going to make people think you're crazy. I mean, just if you were sitting at the bus stop and you see some random guy also waiting on the bus, no phone, no Bluetooth headset, no nothing. He's just sitting like, fuck this, you're going to be like, you're going to side eye that nigga like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Why are you hollering and shouting for no reason? Now, if you see a guy, he just got his fucking hand chopped off and he's hollering and shouting or some shit, well, there's all the context you need. But without that context, you're going to look at his ass like, bro, what the fuck's wrong with you? Why are you doing this? What's the purpose behind this shit? And if you, as the observer, can't plug in a purpose for that shit, you're just going to conclude he's crazy. Because you don't really need any further investigation to realize that shit. So if you think it's pissing men off, it's actually not. We're actually just backing up from your crazy ass because we don't want to have to deal with that. Unless we're forced to, no one wants to deal with that shit. If you burn your bra, that shit doesn't affect me. It doesn't piss me off. I don't care. I don't think most men care. Hey, did you hear about Jennifer? She burned her bra. I was screaming at people earlier. I don't give a fuck. Fuck Jennifer. That's her fault. That's her microfeminism gone berserk. Give a shit. Why should I give a shit? So yeah, Wood then goes on to rattle off some ways. Yeah, rattle off is good. Yeah, rattle off. Rattle off some ways she does this in her job as an attorney, which you probably shouldn't do if you're a professional. You shouldn't be implementing your ideological preferences onto the professional workplace, especially not when you're a prosecutor and you people's freedom and justice is in your hands. You know? So I scroll down too far. Let's go. Yeah, for instance, if somebody at her job says, I have to talk to the board or the chairperson of the board, CEO, you name it, she will always reply with, let me know what she says. Quote, always she would emphasize by default. Okay, so let me just finish. Of course, feminism too comes in all shapes and sizes, but the gist of the movement is that people of all genders deserve to be liberated from oppression. While bra burning and standing up and screaming can certainly be useful tactics to meet this goal, practical everyday actions like these also make a difference. Okay, so if I was to say, excuse me, Tiffany, I have to talk to the board. Let me know what she says. She, the board, that's a guy. This bitch is crazy. I move on. It doesn't piss me off. I don't dwell on it. I don't devote any significant portion of my day to wondering why she said, she said she. Like, should it be a he? It's got to be a he. If it's a he, you must say it's a he. Like, I don't care. If that's what you want to think, and as long as we get the job done, whatever we're here to do, you can do that shit. You can be micro-aggressive, because I don't micro-give a fuck. So, like, go ahead. That shit don't bother me. I don't think it bothers most men. And if it does bother a man, there's either a practical reason for it bothering him, or dude's a bitch. Like, dude's probably one of these male feminists that get lauded by women, but they get nothing more but verbal praise from women. But these women don't respect you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care that you're a feminist. They don't care that you're on their side. So when it comes down to hating men, their hatred for men is going to trump whatever allegiance that you think you form with them by jumping on a feminist bandwagon as a beta male. They don't give a shit. Don't you know this? They don't give a shit. They say they just want to piss you off. So, like, if all they're trying to do is piss you off, what do you think you can gain by being on their side? You're an idiot. Skip that. In fact, they are likely a response to microaggressions or the small daily ways someone may experience oppression. Think, this clip of a man assuming a woman was a flight attendant when seconds earlier she had indeed introduced herself as a pilot. Okay, boom. So let's chew on that for a second. So, guy sees a woman, thinks she's a flight attendant, and she turns out to be the pilot. So, one, this could be sexist. This could very well be sexist. It could very well be some type of chauvinistic, anti-woman thought process this guy's got going on. Let's not ignore that. It could very well be that. But if we're going to entertain that it could be that, we got to also entertain the other possible explanations for this before we just assume that it's oppressive hatred towards women. So, how many female pilots are there? Like, if you just had to guess, like, let's say you're a person, let's just say you catch one flight a month. If you caught one flight a month, that's 12 flights a year, how many instances are those pilots going to be female? Even the co-pilot, female pilot, co-pilot, whatever. Maybe 2 of those times. Maybe 2. And that's as generous as I'm going to be about it. Maybe 2 times you'll see a female pilot. So, if the status quo is to see male pilots in a male-dominated industry, and you think she's a flight attendant, the appropriate way to respond to that is to give this man the benefit of the doubt. Oh, excuse me, sir. I'm actually the pilot of this plane. Oh, my apologies, ma'am. I had no idea. But and it doesn't work in reverse. Like, if you see a male flight attendant, you don't accidentally think he's if you say, oh, I thought you were a flight attendant. You're the pilot of the plane. Like, it doesn't happen. And the reason that doesn't happen is because most pilots are generally white men. That's just the facts of it. You can discuss all the racism and all the isms around that shit if you want to, but the fact of the matter is most airplane pilots are men. So armed with this knowledge, if you see a woman and don't think she's the pilot right away, and you want to make a scene about this, at least give the man the benefit of the doubt. And it's just, well, every time I've been on a plane, the pilot's been a man. Okay, can't you understand that? Can't you understand that it's not coming from my sexist, anti-feminist platform that I just want to see all women cooking and cleaning and walking around in high heels and booty shorts? Like, can't we meet in the middle there? Of course we can't meet in the middle because you're a dumb fucking feminist. So no, we cannot meet in the middle on that, even though that's probably where we should meet. And it's not microaggression. Like, what is aggressive about an honest mistake based on real life statistics and tendencies? You know, I just saw a post earlier talking about the first black woman to operate like heavy construction machinery or whatever. Now, based on all the people you've seen on construction crews and her being the first female, black or otherwise, if you see her, you'd be like, hey, are you here to do this other task that's not operating the equipment? No, sir, I'm here to operate the equipment. Oh, shit, okay, go ahead. I just never seen a woman operating this equipment before. It's not because I'm a sexist pig. I'm just going based off my lived experience, which is what you fucking people love to say. It's not always sexism, man, but if it's not always sexism, they don't have a narrative to further. You know? Continue. Wood is not the only creator making the rounds on TikTok to discuss microfeminism. Creator Ashley Shaney asked viewers what their favorite microfeminism act is. After she shared how, if she's emailing a group of people, she will always address the email to the woman first and the man second. Who cares? Who fucking cares? Like, just because you addressed a woman first, that's more or less you expressing your preference. That has nothing to do with the actuality of who's first and who's second or whatever. That's just you projecting your preference onto me. And if it doesn't, if I don't care. Only women care about this shit because you live in this neurotic ass society where everything that happens to you is some type of form of oppression, and it's not. It's just not. And if you're not willing to accept that every little fucking thing isn't, then there's no point in talking to you because you're incredulous beyond discussion. There's no matter what evidence I present, you're gonna see things the way you see them. So there's no point in trying to convince you otherwise. I just take that into account, and I know when you're talking to me, you're gonna address the women first. So I let you have that. I'm micro passive in that regard because the shit I need to be aggressive about isn't micro. That's some shit y'all do because of whatever little fantasy fucking world y'all live in. That's that. Continue. Both Wood and Shaney's original TikToks are abuzz as thousands comment with ideas of their own. Quote, I write real estate contracts and I always put the wife's name first, one commenter wrote. The husband questions it a lot even though it makes zero difference to the contract, just their ego. So like, you said it yourself, it makes zero difference to the contract, so why do it? Why do it? This microfeminism makes zero difference. You just admitted that this shit you're doing right here makes zero difference. Why do it? Just for his ego. Do you not see the irony in that? To do something that doesn't make a difference in a subtle attempt to piss somebody off, and it makes no difference at all. You think you're harming someone's ego, but it's your ego that's in play, thinking you're doing this shit to be bothering somebody, thinking it bothers them, thinking like, oh my God, I can't sleep. He put my wife's name first. Nobody gives a shit but you. You're living in your own neurotic fantasy world. And to be talking about you're trying to damage a man's ego in a micro fashion is ironic. Because this is a display of your ego at work. This is your ego at work. So what the fuck? What the fuck? Fucking stupid. I address my wedding, how much more is it? Okay, yeah. I address my wedding invitations as Mrs. and Mr. Jane Smith. Oh man, that that cuts me deep. Fuck. You put the wife's name first. But like, why not, if you really wanted to be microaggressive, why not give the man the woman's last name? Like, if you really wanted to be petty in this regard, don't say Mr. and Mrs. Jane Smith. Mrs. and Mr. Jane Smith. Say Mrs. and Mr. Jane Harris or whatever, her last name. Give him her last name. Because if it was me, I'd probably be like, hey, what the fuck is this? I'm not taking her last name. You can call it ego or whatever, but that's a microaggression that's more likely to work. This dumb shit right here, you know. And if I'm in charge of the wedding invitations and you do that shit, you're fired. Fuck you. Yeah. Now I'm actually aggressive. This is macroaggression now. Bitch, I didn't ask you to do that shit. Now you're projecting your personal ideological worldviews onto my event because you're a dumb feminist. Had nothing to do with me. when a group of male coworkers complete, or quote, when a group of male coworkers complete some kind of project or presentation, I say, great job, gentlemen, or great job, boys. In the same way professional men say, great job, ladies and girls, one shared. What? What? What the fuck, man? Are you serious? Are you serious? Great job, boys. Oh, I'm a boy. Okay, thanks. Thanks for telling me great job. Am I supposed to be offended? Like, get fucking real. This shit's not real. Nobody gives a damn about this shit. When I send emails, I no longer say, I just wanted to reach out, saying just diminish the importance of my message. I mean, that's actually not a bad one. Like, I don't see what it's got to do with fucking feminism or whatever. I just wanted to reach out. Okay, yeah, what's that got to do with feminism? That's actually just a good idea in general. I mean, overthinking it a little bit, but I understand. It's just like when you're in a restaurant, instead of saying, are you still working on this? You say, are you still enjoying this? I mean, subtle, but it's not ist at all. It's just language. Let's conclude this shit. While these small actions are exactly that, small, no doubt, seeing thousands of women come together to share them and discover what other tiny ways they can reclaim their power seems to be empowering more than just colleagues on the other end of an email. Yeah, all these behaviors are just ways for women to reclaim power. That if y'all claim that there is none, like, how can you reclaim something you didn't have? Y'all are just now getting this shit. So what is this, the power you allege has been taken away from men? You had to have the power for it to be taken away. And women have just been gaining as time has been going on. The last 50 years, women have gone up. So what the fuck power are you reclaiming? Like, this is the power you're just now getting. Because back then it was an issue because it was power you didn't have. Now that you have it, what power are you reclaiming? At what point does this shit not just boil down to a bunch of word soup, jargon, bullshit, neurotic fantasy land that you're trying to, this is a neurotic fantasy that you're trying to project into reality to create a narrative of oppression that doesn't fucking exist. That's what this is. That's why feminism is stupid, and that's why microfeminism is stupid. It's all stupid. It should all be discarded. If you care about the success of your civilization anyway, there is no point in microfeminism. There's no place for it anywhere. There's a bunch of women who can't stand the fact that they're fucking women. They want to be men so bad that they express their masculinity through feminism. It's fucking weird, bro. It's just fucking weird. All right, let's I want to say before I start this segment that getting to this point, especially with this new equipment that I've installed and ironing out all the kinks and everything, it can get kind of frustrating sometimes, and just having a situation with a fucking roommate working a job and like trying to figure all this shit out at the same time. It can be like real difficult to fucking be able to do this, and even just like once every 10 days. Like, it's fucking rough. And it's not really me trying to complain or like bellyache. I'm just saying, man, like, it's fun, and I'm glad I'm hanging in there. I'm glad I'm continuing to do this. I'm glad I'm upgrading my shit, and pretty soon when the time is right, I'll be where I want to be with this, and in life in general, but specifically this. So allergies aside. I figured I've been trying to really steer away from always talking about the trans stuff so much. Like, it kind of I get on my own fucking nerves with that shit. So I found this little shit talking about 16 compliments that aren't really compliments. And like, this is the kind of shit that, for one, you can tell a woman wrote it, and that's not sexist. Like, you can just tell. Like, but I skimmed through some of the phrases. Like, you can just tell that no man is that preoccupied with a compliment to where we're going to compile them and itemize them in an article about. So, that in case you didn't realize it, like, take a peek. Says, oh shit. Well, I guess there's nothing to look at quite yet. There we go. Courtesy of Reader's Digest. 16 compliments you didn't realize are actually pretty insulting. Yeah, sometimes you're not really trying to be that way, but you are, and that's just the way it works sometimes, and it's not really your fault, but it is, and blah de blah de blah, So yeah, let's get it set up here. I'm gonna try to get through as much of this list as I can. I don't, because just the headline is pretty stupid. Like, it's compliments you didn't realize are insulting. Like, who's insulted by compliments? This is like an inherently female thing. Like, look, even the picture here, like the guy's blurred out. Women are blurred out, but still rather notable in the background. And you got this woman right here with this pensive look on her face. Just, because women can't take a fucking joke anymore. They just can't. There are no such things as jokes. If you say some shit and it's rather distasteful, you can't just shake it off. It's got to be instant offense and outrage and something that's remembered for the next 17 goddamn years. But yeah, let's read here. Backhanded compliments. The vast majority of the time, giving a compliment is harmless and indeed boosts the recipient's mood, but certain compliments can have implications that are far from complimentary. For instance, if you react with surprise at someone's good quality or behavior, make them feel uncomfortable, or even perpetuate a racial or gender stereotype, then that compliment is now insulting. These are the things you should think twice before you say, no matter how good your intentions. Plus, learn the questions polite people never ask. And before we get into it, I mean, you can see the first one, hey, you're on time. But before I get into that, this is just, all of this is some type of clever, like, slick propagandist manipulation to try to control the way you talk. I'm not saying you should go around and be a dick to everybody just because you can, but, like, I'm not about to sugarcoat every goddamn phrase in my repertoire just so you never feel the slightest bit of offense. I can say the most benign and innocent thing and it'll offend you. I can't always, if my intent is not to offend, I can't control whether you're offended. Now, if I'm trying to antagonize you, that's a different thing. I want that reaction out of you. But if I'm not trying to get that reaction out of you and I get it anyways, like, mistakes happen. Shit happens in life. Like, I'm not trying to insult you. And then even if I do insult you, like, if you want to insult me back, fine. But, like, it's still a limit on where that shit is going to go. Like, I'm not about to, okay, I insulted you. My bad. Like, if you're not willing to fight to the death over it, shut the fuck up. Like, because I don't know where it's going to go. I'm not going to apologize. Like, that shit, no. Like, if you expect an apology out of me, you are horribly mistaken. It's not going to happen. Flat out. You just had to beat me to death or whatever, hang me upside down by my ankle and, like, drip Kool-Aid down my forehead or some shit. You had to do some radical shit. I don't particularly give a quarter fuck. Yeah, so, hey, you're on time. What the fuck's offensive? How is that a compliment, first of all? Like, I've known people who are chronically late, and it's frustrating. Like, to consider that I shouldn't say, hey, you're on time because it's an insult undermines the fact that, like, well, you don't value my time, and that's an insult. Like, we all agreed upon a certain time, and you didn't give a fuck enough to even meet that deadline, but now I'm supposed to give a fuck about how you feel when I address it? Hey, you're on time is not a compliment. Hey is like, it's an acknowledgement. It's a declaration. It's like, hey, you got here when you said you would. And why else would somebody say that to you unless you were routinely late? Fucking stupid. Dumb. Already dismantled. That's why I said, I don't know I'm going to be able to get down this whole list. Because it's written by women for women. Like, who the fuck else really takes insults to compliments unless you know somebody's trying to, like, unless you know. Like, you just know sometimes that somebody's trying to needle the fuck out of you. But, like, unless one of them situations, who else besides women get offended by compliments? You cannot be nice. And even if you are nice, you're not going to be respected. Like, you got to know when to be nice but then be mean. You got to know when to be hard and when to be soft. You got to know when to be wet and when to be dry. And you got to know when to be a vegetable and when to be a fruit. No homo. Or whatever the fuck. Because I already know somebody like, man, I ain't finna be no fruit, dog. Chico ain't finna be no fruit. So, it's just shit I have to say so motherfuckers understand what I mean, not because I actually give a fuck. Shouldn't even have to be explaining this shit. I'm reading this feminine-ass article, this shit rubbing off on me. Your new hairstyle makes you look so much younger. Perhaps I'm mistaken, but wasn't it, like, my understanding that, like, women like to be complimented on their youth. Like, anytime I address a woman, I'm like, excuse me, young lady. Like, you know. And if they're an older woman, I just say, miss. You know. But, like, I've never had one woman ever in the history of forever, never, since I've been doing it, not one time, have a woman be like, excuse me, don't call me young. Don't you dare call me young. I am 75 years old. Don't you call me young. Never. Even older women appreciate it. Like, gray-haired women appreciate being called young. So your new hairstyle makes you look younger. Like, ain't that the goal? Like, ain't that the fucking goal here? Is that not what we trying to do? Sorry, I didn't mean to offend you by complimenting you, but only a fucking feminist could take a compliment and be offended by it. I'm so impressed that you are handling the kids so well. See, goddamn, like, I can't even be nice. I can't even compliment you on something you're doing well because I don't realize that it's insulting. Like, I don't even get a chance to not be a dick. As soon as I say something nice, I'm automatically a dick. Hey, you're handling your kids well. What's that mean? Do you say I wasn't handling my kids well before? Are you insulting my parenting? Blah, 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 blah. Like, damn. If a woman wrote this and meant it, if anybody wrote this and meant it, it's just like I said before I started going down this list. It's just another way to compel and manipulate your speech so they can live this utopian fantasy lifestyle where they don't have to hear things they don't want to hear. They don't have to hear things that they find displeasant. They can have all the sound that enters their ears tailor-made to the most pleasant tunes 136% of the fucking time. That's what that is. If you don't believe me, then you're stupid. I don't give a fuck to convince you. That's what that is. And if this doesn't convince you, you're unconvincible. You are such a strong person. Another instance when a compliment has gone berserk because the person you're complimenting takes offense to the shit. I can't even say, wow, you're so strong. What's that mean? You call me weak? You call me weak? Is that what you mean by that? You call me weak? Like, would you even want to be around a person who fucking micromanages your speech to this degree? Like, can you even really say what you think around a person like that? Is that, like, even possible? Could you really express yourself to a person that's gonna, like, just be sitting there with a conversational booby trap ready to fuck you the moment you say something slightly not PR? Do you want to deal with that kind of person? I don't think you do. You might say you do, but I don't really think you do because that's asinine. It's nonsense. You're a really good driver for a woman. Look, have you driven with women? Have you? Not saying no women can drive. Like, I've driven with some women who've made me feel really at ease. Like, I don't have to keep. I could be on my phone and I don't got to look up every time every time you hit the brakes because I'm like, why are you slamming the brakes? Or you not tailgating somebody constantly the entire fucking time. Like, or you not lead-footing it. Like, people who've done that haven't been a passenger for a long time, and they feel like their comfort with that reckless driving equates to other people's comfort with that reckless driving. And that shit is not, it's unsettling as fuck. It'll make a nigga catch the bus to where you could drive to, or you got to let me drive, or I can't fuck with that. Who the fuck want to have an uncomfortable driving experience every time they're with you? Feel like this might be the last time you enter or exit a vehicle. And women be driving reckless as fuck, man. Y'all be in a rush to go nowhere and do banal shit. Like, y'all not really trying to go do nothing important and most of the time. You want to pick up your kids or some shit like that, or you going to a hair appointment, or you going to, or you going to a fucking a concert or some shit like that, going out to dinner. Like, why do you need the speed to do that? Can't you just get there safely? Like, what's the gripe with safe transportation? Like, why do you want to risk your life unnecessarily? Let me see. Let me do a little check-in here. Okay. Yeah, we can look at a few more of these. Because I really don't think I'm going to be able to tolerate all this shit. I mean, it's funny. You did a fantastic job handling that project on your own. So, see, yeah, just like I was saying before, like, oops. The theme is clear. The theme here is very, very clear. The theme is to gaslight you into not even being able to deliver compliments without repercussion. Like, it's this whole article is gaslighting. That's what it is. It's not even covert. It's not slick. It's a pretty blatant, like, who's the target audience for this article? Who's going to read this and then when they're done reading it feel like, oh, yeah, I really related to that. I felt that. My whole village felt that. Who? Please let me know. Because this is garbage. This is bullshit. Like, at this point, I'm just kind of just trying to have some fun with this shit, man. You know, because this don't make no sense. This don't appeal to nobody. This don't tailor to nobody. But some angry-ass woman somewhere and all 61 of her cats. Like, what the fuck? Let's keep going. Yeah, so, yeah, you can't tell people they did a fantastic job handling that because you don't realize that's actually insulting. So make sure you don't compliment. The next time you see somebody doing a terrible job, say, hey, you know they did a good job. Like, why'd you, man, that looks fucking horrible. What the fuck? Do you have Parkinson's, you piece of shit? Make sure you tell them that because that's a more positive reinforcement than telling somebody, hey, you did a fantastic job on that, handling it by yourself. You know? And as you can see, like, I'm skipping all this shit because I know it's just a bunch of gobbledygook. I'm not really, you know, at this point, I'm just pointing out the trend. Like, you see it said it's supposed to be 16 of these. That's why I knew I wasn't even going to get through all of this because you're so gorgeous. Another compliment. I just hear a song. Every time I'm at work, I hear a song. Boom, you gorgeous. Boom, you gorgeous. Boom, you gorgeous. You gorgeous. You gorgeous. So, actually, that's not really insulting because a motherfucker made a song repeating that shit, and it got on the radio. And it's played like 165,000 times a motherfucking day. Okay? So, what's the next one? Great job getting that A. You're so smart. Okay, now it's been pathetic. But, like, this is getting really, really, really pathetic. Sorry, I got to eat something. That's how pathetic this is. Like, this is just stupid. This ain't fucking journalism. Bitch, I got a cucumber on your ass, bitch. Now, in case you don't know why I just very deliberately took a bite out of this shit, is because I eat during segments when, like, the person, place, or thing that I'm referring to is something that I have a great degree of contempt for. And this article has just reached that milestone. And it's not easy to do. I don't eat during a podcast often, even if I'm hungry. Like, I don't do this. I try to reserve this behavior for the most heinous shit. You feel me? And this is getting there. This is beyond there. There's a couple more and then I'll stop. Because we pretty much see what this is. This article exists just to fill the universe. It's filler. I'm so proud of you for getting a raise this year, honey. Can't make this shit up, man. All of these are like, why should these be insulting? The only way I can remotely see this being insulting is if, like, there's some type of event underlying between the two. It's an inside event only you and your spouse know about. And there's a third person around, and somebody takes advantage of the third person's lack of awareness of the situation to kind of, like, compel you to do some shit. Like, that's about it. It's like, oh, no. She's doing a brilliant job at washing dishes or whatever the fuck, or, you know, gardening or whatever. Aren't you, honey? And you know you can't snap on this motherfucker in front of this guest, so you just like, oh, why sure. Yeah, you know. But, like, that compliment, and you know this motherfucker's trying to needle you. You know, due to that third person and how if it was that third person wasn't there, that interaction would play differently. This shit right here, these could also just be compliments. I think it's fair to note that. I think it's fair to note that all of these could just be regular compliments. They don't have to be tongue-in-cheek bullshit. Like, it ain't got to be no, like, hostile thing. Like, just say thank you. That's how I was taught to handle compliments. When people compliment you, there's no need to, like, toot your own horn. You smile. Sometimes some compliments feel better than others. You just smile and say thanks. You know? Just take the feel good, man. If somebody want to compliment you, let them compliment you like 99% of the time. Like, what's wrong with it? Like, you should be, especially as a man, You should be immune to compliments and insults equally. If people say things that get to you, there's probably some truth in it, or at least you believe whatever it is. Why else would it piss you off? I've made this point before. Like, let's say I'm like, you shut up, you dumb fucking hockey player, yo, hockey playing ass nigga over here with the puck. And it's like, but you don't play no hockey. You just go sit there and look at me like, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? Like, you would just walk away from my ass, because at that point, like, just dismiss this stupid ass nigga. But what if I said some shit like, yeah, you little fucking deadbeat ass, dead motherfucker, ain't seen your kid in 3 years and shit because you been out here getting STDs from all these bitches and shit. Now, if I say some shit like that and it get to you, it's probably true. It's probably true. Or you think people will believe it's true, which it almost might as well be true in that case. So it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But just let compliments be compliments. Why do we need to make why are we so against each other? Like, this is not a back and forth battle. Like, all that shit does is hamper communication. How does this make communication any better if the things that I say to you that are supposed to be positive are just negative before I even say them? Think about that shit. And think about it when you find articles like this that exist completely within a vacuum, totally devoid of any meaningful substance or lesson or moral value whatsoever. It's just assorted letters and text on a URL. You can't do nothing to benefit yourself with this bullshit, but just sit there and wallow in your own misery and sitting around and talk about how shit piss you off all day long. Like, everybody don't got things that piss them off all day long, or like anybody give a special fuck about what you going through. For real. Grow up. This shit like this is good for nobody. This is good for absolutely fucking nobody. And you know, that's pretty much it. It's not. You don't. Who cares what you feel? Facts don't care about your feelings. The vast majority of the world doesn't care about your feelings. It's a very personal thing, and that's exactly how it should stay. That's the show. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Till next time, I'll holla.